Hey guys, Prithviraj, I hope you guys are doing great. Now today we're going to talk about something that's a little bit more sensitive and it's also going to involve this PC right here. Now, pandemic is upon us and pretty much we are stuck at home during this COVID season and it's going to be November and we're going to end this 2020 spending 3/4 of our time at home. Yeah. So, during the pandemic, things have changed for better or for worse, and one of the things would be working from home and learning from home. And I, being a final year student, I'm actually learning from home, and I gotta say, it's not fun, but also at the same time, what can you do? Because life has to go on. And work also has to go on, which is why we are pretty much stuck at home. But thanks to the technological advancement where we have laptops, we have PCs, and so on, we are able to carry on with our lives, and it's just amazing. Now, when it comes to affording a laptop or a PC for that matter, not everybody actually have the spending power to go out for a 4,000 or a 5,000 ringgit PC or a laptop for that matter. And we have reviewed a lot of laptops in the past or basically earlier this year where it involves like the ASUS ZenBook and from other manufacturers out there. Now, the challenge is that convincing anybody to spend that much amount of money during a pandemic where your job is pretty much is on the line, and we kind of went through that. We will talk about that in another video. Um, it's really important that you make sure to see what are you spending on, and not everybody actually have the spending power to spend on something that's expensive. Which is why today we're going to talk about this PC right here. So this is the ASUS S500SA Desktop PC. A very simple PC that's priced at 2,399 ringgit, and it also comes with an affordable variant which is less than 2,000 ringgit. And why does this particular PC exist? Which is why we're going to talk about in this video. And let's not waste any time and get right into it. And you're watching The Adventures of Vesper. Let's begin. Now, the ASUS S500SA has the following specification under the hood. You get a 10th generation Intel Core i5 processor with 8 gigs of single channel RAM, and you get a 7200 RPM hard drive with 1 TB storage. And as for the GPU itself, it doesn't have a dedicated GPU, by the way, so it comes with a Intel integrated UHD graphics, which is pretty decent enough for a machine like this. And right off the bat, when you look at a desktop PC with this particular specification, you might wonder, that's a little bland, don't you think? Well, it is. But the beauty of desktop PC is that there is room for upgradability, which is our first point of this video. Now, you can actually opt in for a laptop at this very same price. In fact, you can find a lot of laptops at this price tag. But the very fact that these days upgradability is hard to come by on a laptop makes it really hard to actually own one for long-term usage, especially people who are opting in for systems like this. They want something that's really viable, that's gonna last for years to come until the PC eventually dies off. So in that case, what kind of upgradability can you do here? Number one, there's an extra RAM slot, so which means you can throw in another stick of RAM to take advantage of the dual channel RAM memory. Great. Number two is that if you find that 7200 RPM hard drive is slow, which is kind of dated for today's standard, but the thing is that it's a 1 TB hard drive, so it still has enough amount of storage where you can store your backup. Worry not, because there's an M.2 slot in here, which is weirdly positioned, but you can use the slot to add an M.2 SSD. And you can make that as your primary drive, which means the system will be much faster. Number three is that there's also room for adding another hard drive or a SSD, SATA based or whatever, depending on your choice. So, which means the upgradability here is pretty much nifty, and it's really nice to have. And which is why I love desktop PC. There's always room for upgradability, which means you're gonna use this PC for years to come. So number two is that the performance is going to be pretty much simple and straightforward. It's a i5 10th generation processor, and you get 8 gigs of RAM. The performance is going to be more towards a productivity centric, so which means You're talking about people who are going to spend more time working on Word, Excel, PowerPoint, basically the Office suite, and also on the same time maybe a little bit of browsing and then probably socializing and maybe a little bit of entertainment where they want to watch Netflix or whatsoever. So that's going to be this kind of system. And as for students who want a basic system, those who don't game or whatsoever, they're going to love it because it pretty much covers the major essentials of your day-to-day life, which means you can study on it, you can pretty much do your video calls and whatsoever if you were to buy a webcam for it, and buy a headphone with a microphone, and you can actually have video calls with your lecturers or whatsoever, and even for your work as well. So it's a very versatile system. And on the front you have ample amount of USB ports for you to connect your headphones, your microphone, your USB, your hard drive and whatsoever. And on the back you also have enough amount of ports, including a display port, so which means you can still get a really good display and use the display port for output. And number 3, the real question is, why does this PC exist? Because that's going to be the question on everybody's mind. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, during this whole pandemic, a lot of things have changed for better, good, or worse. One of the things that's pretty much inevitable is people losing their jobs. And also at the very same time, some of them lost their jobs, especially when you take in consideration they have a family to take care of. And this is a serious challenge in the times of right now. This is a really serious situation. And during this time, not everybody can actually afford a laptop or a PC that's going to go way beyond 2,500 or 3,000 we get for that matter. And they want something that's simple, something that puts them on their feet and make them going. So it's the kind of system, that's the reason why this exists. Think of the ASUS S500SA like a symbol of hope. Like during the tough time, PCs like this is just going to get your job done, and that's all that's going to matter. And that's the kind of system that we are looking at here. It's basically like a pandemic friendly PC. Nobody wants to hear that, seriously. It's a really, really bad term to use, and I'm not joking at all, but that's what it is, because it's a wallet friendly PC. Like even I myself, if I didn't have the ability to own a gaming PC or a gaming laptop for that matter, I would just buy this right away. And because I can actually afford it, because I can solely afford it, even though me being a student, I can fork out the money to buy this PC. That's how comfortable I am, just to make sure that my work and my studies go without any hiccup. So that's how important this PC is in this current situation. But also at the very same time, having room for upgradability also means that you can also take advantage of this PC. There is a PCIe slot, so maybe you can get a GPU, I guess. I could be wrong, but yeah, so you can actually upgrade it, but the chassis is too small, so something you should consider. And this PC is just gonna last for days to come, years to come actually. And in fact, one of the interesting things that we learned about this particular PC is that it's also used in like business segment. So SMEs also gonna need some sort of PC, and not everybody can afford like really pro grade PC for their work. And SMEs, for that matter, it's gonna rely heavily on their cost, and they have to be very budget conscious. So that's the place where these kind of PC comes into really good play. But also at the very same time, Koki from Nasilum Attack also told something interesting about this particular PC, where it's used in enterprise-related situation for calls and stuff, for remote control sessions and whatnot. I'll add his video down in the link in the description below so that you can check it out. Now, in conclusion, so the ASUS S500SA isn't the best PC out there, isn't the powerful PC out there, it isn't any of that. But what is, like I said earlier, it's the symbol of hope during the pandemic session, where anybody and everybody can afford it and get their work and studies going on without any interruption. And that's exactly what the ASUS S500SA is. Now, you might wonder, do I have to upgrade anything that when I buy this PC? Yes, definitely. And I will not recommend the variant that we reviewed here, because this one comes in at 2,399 ringgit, which is kind of steep. but they have a variant which is less than 2000 ringgit, coming in at 1800 ringgit. So that's a variant that you can actually go for. It comes with an i3 processor, which is pretty decent, and you get really good specification under the hood. So what you might want to add is that probably you would need an M.2 SSD. I think 128 or 240 gigs would suffice, because you're just going to use it for your boot drive. Number two is probably an extra RAM stick, so that's going to be another 8 gigs of RAM, and that's basically it. You can use the 1 TB as a second storage, which is great. And if you have an existing monitor and keyboard and pretty much all the peripherals, then you're good to go. But if you're looking for a monitor and whatsoever, we recently did a very budget-friendly monitor review, which is the AOpen 27CV1Q. We will add the link down in the description below. And it's gonna pretty much set you still within about 2,500 or 3,000 ringgit budget. So that's great. That's basically it, guys. Huge thanks to ASUS Malaysia for sending this PC over, for making this content happen. And we will catch you guys in another cool set of videos that we are planning to do here. And also at the very same time, make sure to like us on our Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, give us a thumbs down. Tell us why you didn't like it, so that we could definitely improve in the next video. And let us know how is our Vesper lab setup. So this is our first time. After months and months of working, we finally have a beautiful space for us to shoot video on a constant basis. So expect to see videos coming out every single week. I'll do my best. If I have exams, I'll let you know, guys. That's why my Facebook and my Twitter exist, and my Instagram too. So make sure to follow that. That's basically it. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, this is Pretty Rad signing off. Take care. See you guys real soon. Bye. There's just so much of challenges going on. God, it's recording. So much of challenges going on.